The gift was gone, and my heart sank faster than a stone in a frozen lake. I'd spent months saving, scrimping, lying awake at night to afford that $7,000 gaming setup for Ethan's 16th birthday, only to find an empty box under the Christmas tree. I stood in our living room, the tinsel glinting mockingly under the fairy lights, as Ethan's face crumpled. His eyes, usually bright with teenage defiance, were now pools of disappointment. "Mom, you said it was here," he whispered, holding the torn wrapping paper like it was a broken promise. I wanted to scream, to tear the house apart, but all I could do was stare at the empty space where the gift should have been. My husband, Tom, leaned against the kitchen doorway, his arms crossed, a smirk curling his lips like he'd just won a private bet. That look, it wasn't surprise or sympathy. It was something darker, something that made my skin crawl. Let me take you back. I'm Claire, 42, a high school math teacher who spent the last 18 years trying to hold a family together. Ethan, my only child, is the kind of kid who'd rather spend hours coding than talking to me, but I love him fiercely. Tom, my husband of 20 years, is a sales manager, charming when he wants to be, distant when he doesn't. We're not rich, not even close. The $7,000 wasn't just money, it was every overtime shift, every skipped coffee, every moment I told myself it'd be worth it to see Ethan's face light up. He'd been obsessed with gaming, dreaming of streaming like the pros. I wanted to give him that dream, to show him I believed in him, even if Tom thought it was a waste of time. The plan was simple. I'd ordered the setup, a top-tier PC, a curved monitor, the works months ago, hiding it in the guest room closet. I'd wrapped it myself, tying a red bow so big it looked ridiculous. Christmas morning, I'd placed it under the tree while Ethan was still asleep. Tom had watched me, sipping his coffee, saying nothing. "You're spoiling him," he'd muttered once, but I brushed it off. He'd always been practical, skeptical of big gestures. I thought he'd come around when he saw Ethan's joy. But now the box was empty. Not just empty, gutted. The foam inserts were there, mocking me with their perfect cutouts, but the equipment was gone. Ethan sat on the couch, staring at the floor, his silence louder than any tantrum. I turned to Tom, my voice shaking. "Did you see anyone near the tree? Did you move it?" His smirk widened, just enough to twist the knife. "Me, I didn't touch your precious gift." "Claire," his tone was smooth, too smooth, like he was reciting lines. I wanted to believe him, but that look, God, that look felt like a confession of something I couldn't yet name. I tore through the house, the guest room, the garage, even the attic. Nothing. Ethan trailed behind, his voice small. Maybe it was a mistake. "Mom, maybe they sent the wrong box." I wanted to hug him, to tell him it'd be okay, but my mind was racing. The receipt confirmed the order was delivered. The box was sealed when I wrapped it. Someone had taken it, and the only people in this house were us. That night, I couldn't sleep. Tom's smirk haunted me, replaying like a bad movie. We'd been drifting for years, small arguments, cold silences, but this felt different, deliberate. I started noticing things. His late nights at work, the way he'd changed the subject when I mentioned the gift, the way he'd been short with Ethan, dismissing his gaming as childish. Was he jealous, resentful, or was it something worse? The next morning, I called the store. They confirmed the shipment was intact when it left their warehouse. I checked our security camera, nothing but a grainy view of the front porch. No strangers, no delivery mix-ups. My stomach churned as I realized the truth. It had to be someone inside. I confronted Tom in the kitchen, my voice low so Ethan wouldn't hear. "Tell me the truth. Tom, did you take it?" He laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. "You're paranoid, Claire. You think I'd steal from my own kid." But his eyes didn't match his words. They were cold, calculating, and that smirk was back. "Stop lying," I snapped. "You've been against this from the start. Where is it?" He stepped closer, his voice dropping. "You're so caught up in playing hero. You don't see what's right in front of you? What's that supposed to mean? I demanded. But he just walked away, leaving me with nothing but questions. Days passed and the house felt like a pressure cooker. Ethan withdrew, barely speaking. I kept searching, checking pawn shops, online marketplaces, even the neighbor's garage when they weren't home. Nothing. But Tom's behavior grew stranger. He'd leave the house at odd hours, claiming errands. Once, I caught him on the phone, whispering, "It's handled," before hanging up quickly. I started digging deeper. I checked our bank account, nothing unusual. But Tom had always been clever with money. Then I found a receipt in his jacket pocket for a storage unit, dated the day after Christmas. My heart pounded. Why would he need a storage unit? We didn't have anything to store. I didn't tell him I was going. I waited until he left for work, then drove to the facility, Ethan in the passenger seat. He hadn't wanted to come, but I couldn't leave him alone with Tom. The storage unit was small, barely big enough for a car. I used the key from Tom's jacket, my hands trembling. Inside, there it was, the gaming setup, still in its packaging, untouched. Ethan gasped, "Mom, that's it. Why is it here?" I couldn't answer. My mind was a storm of rage and betrayal. Tom had taken it, hidden it. But why? To hurt me, to control Ethan? Or was it about the money? When we got home, I confronted Tom again, this time with the evidence. I held up the key, my voice steady despite the fire in my chest. "Care to explain this?" His smirk faltered, just for a second. But then he doubled down. "You went through my stuff real classy. Claire, don't turn this on me," I said. "You stole from your son. Why?" He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "You want the truth? Fine. I sold it." Ethan, who'd been listening from the stairs, let out a choked sob. I spun on Tom. "You sold it. It wasn't yours to sell." "I didn't sell it yet," he corrected, his voice infuriatingly calm. "I was going to. We need the money. Claire, your little stunt put us in debt. I was trying to fix it." "Fix it," I shouted. "By breaking Ethan's heart, by lying to me." "You don't get it," he said, his eyes narrowing. "You're so busy playing perfect mom. You don't see the mess we're in. The mortgage, the car payments. You think your teacher salary covers that I was going to sell it, pay some bills, and get him something cheaper. He doesn't need a $7,000 toy." Ethan ran upstairs, slamming his door. I wanted to follow, to comfort him, but I couldn't let Tom off that easily. "You don't get to decide what he needs," I said. "You don't get to lie and hide and smirk like this is a game. This was for him, Tom, for his dreams." He shook his head, almost pitying. "Dreams don't pay the bills." That night, I moved the setup back into the house, setting it up in Ethan's room. His eyes lit up, but the joy was tempered by hurt. "Why would Dad do that?" he asked. I didn't have an answer. Not a good one. I just hugged him, promising we'd figure it out. But inside, I was unraveling. Tom's betrayal wasn't just about the gift. It was about trust, about the family I thought we were. Over the next week, I watched Tom closely. He didn't apologize, didn't explain further. He acted like nothing had happened. But I couldn't unsee that smirk. I started asking questions, quiet ones, to friends, to his co-workers. One of them let slip that Tom had been talking about a big deal recently. Something about flipping high-end electronics. My blood ran cold. Was this bigger than just Ethan's gift? Was Tom involved in something shadier? I hired a private investigator, using the last of my savings. It felt extreme, but I needed answers. A week later, he called me. "Your husband's been selling stolen goods," he said. "Not just your son's gift. He's been taking returns from his company's warehouse, claiming they're defective, then selling them on the side." The pieces fell into place. The late nights, the secret calls, the storage unit. Tom wasn't just practical, he was a thief. And he'd used Ethan's gift as part of his scheme, thinking I'd never find out. I confronted him one last time, the investigator's report in my hand. "This ends now," I said. "You're going to tell Ethan the truth, and you're going to make this right." For the first time, Tom looked scared. "Claire, You don't understand. No, I cut him off. You don't understand. This isn't just about money. It's about family and it's about trust. And you broke both. He didn't deny it. He didn't even try. He just stood there, his smirk gone, replaced by a hollow stare. I didn't know if we could come back from this, if our marriage could survive. But I knew one thing: Ethan deserved better. We set up the gaming rig together, Ethan and I. He streamed his first game that night, a shy smile breaking through the hurt. I watched him, my heart swelling with pride and pain. Tom was in the guest room, packing a bag. I didn't know where he'd go, and for the first time, I didn't care. This wasn't just about a $7,000 gift. It was about what we value, what we fight for, and what we're willing to lose. I'd fought for Ethan, for his dreams, for the truth, and I'd keep fighting, no matter what came next. What would you do if you were me? Was I right to confront Tom, to expose his lies, or should I have protected Ethan from the truth, kept the family together? Share your thoughts. What's justice in a situation like this?